Hi, this is Linda and welcome to Linda's Mysteries, my channel about tarot and spirituality. As you can see, I have a few tarot card decks here, and that means that I already did January 2024 monthly card pull, and we had this beautiful darling right here as our monthly card. So if you're curious about it, go and check the video somewhere here. But since it is 2024, I'm very curious to see what would be the collective messages for you. But since I have these few card decks, I'll actually use different ones to pull out different messages. So you can feel within yourself right now, as we are beginning, which one of these two you feel more called to. And that message will be more for you. Take note that this is a collective reading. So if it doesn't fully resonate with you, that's normal, because a collective space is a space where we are, learning in a more group-like way. And we don't individually always align with it, and that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. There are moments where we will really align with what's going on in the collective space, but there will also be moments when we're more in our individual. And for some, these moments are very long-term, for some they are going in waves. I'm more of a wave person. But returning here, so with these collective message readings, we will pull for the whole 2024 one card from each deck, and you just feel which one you are more pulled towards to. So choose now whether you want this Art Nouveau deck or you want the Thoth deck. Good. Now that you have made your decision, just stick with the message that I'm going to bring forward. And in case you feel like you really need a much more detailed 2024 view for yourself, I do Tarot New Year spreads, where I do very personal, deep, one-on-one readings. And in those, we actually dive into not just your year, the 12 months, but also the things that you really care to bring into your life. In other words, manifest. And that reading is minimum 24 cards, usually 36. So it's a huge reading. It's a big time investment as well. It's minimum 2.5 hours and usually takes up to 3.5. So if you feel called after this, that you really want a much deeper reading than a collective one, you need to do a lot of personal things, you have a lot of goals, just find my links to register for that reading now as the year is beginning. Well, the first card pull from the Art Nouveau deck, if you chose it, is, we're having the Hierophant. I hope that you can see it well or not. But the Hierophant is one of the big major arcana, so it's a big lesson. That's something you can take very deeply into yourself. This is actually a big core lesson about being either somebody who's learning or teaching. And oftentimes we're kind of both. So what do I mean by this? If you are even not working as a teacher, there's an area where you are sort of like a little bit more expert at. In whatever room, you're the person that knows most about it, you're the expert on that topic. Let's say I'm an expert in this room about Latvian language because I'm a Latvian, and many of you might not be. So I'm instantly the teacher if we would talk about this topic. But at the same time, if I would compare myself to really the specialist on Latvian language, I would be the person learning. I would be the scholar. So we all actually are on this lane of learning and teaching. And of course, if it comes to our work, to our careers, to our professions, to our skill sets, our interests, hobbies, everything, whatever we have done a lot or care a lot about, we are more in the teacher area. We're the master, we're the person that can give something through it, right? And we also tend to be the one who's learning through that same process. And it's a beautiful place to go back and forth into, and I really love to accept it in my own tarot journey, because I know that yes, I am in many ways sharing and teaching and being a master, but I also feel like a student. I learned so much through this beautiful practice, and you might too. So, what the Pope is saying, not the Pope, the Hierophant, sorry, different card. So, in some languages, he's called the Pope, that's why I say that. But Hierophant here also seems to be quite grounded. So he's not going to be the one who's sharing his knowledge to everyone all around. Actually, here it's more the inner learning perspective, because he's not so connected to maybe others as sometimes he would be on this card. So it is the inner learning, the inner teacher and the inner scholar in many ways. So maybe it is about beautiful practices where you're learning about yourself. One of those is, of course, journaling. Journal about your own journey. And you will actually learn so much of what your mind processes and what your feeling processes through the activity of regular journaling. It can be done in the mornings, but it can also be an evening activity. Then another thing that is coming up is mindfulness practices like meditation, but it can also just trying to be more present in this moment. For example, noticing your senses, noticing what you're smelling, what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, like how it is, for example, for me to sit. Maybe you're sitting as well. How does it feel? So that brings you more to the present moment. And activating these active practices within yourself. It can also be breathing techniques. It can also be proper meditations. It can be, as I like to call them, active meditations. For example, going on a walk. That can be a very beautiful form of an active meditation. But if you put your mind to trying to be more present, notice your breath, notice your body, notice these senses and all sorts of things. So this is the message for those who felt connected to the Art Nouveau. Let me know if this resonated to you. And let's see what will the Thoth Tarot card deck bring. So those who chose this deck, now your message is gonna come through. I usually don't do too many readings like this because I don't believe that we can predict our futures. I think we create them by choosing in the moment of now. And this sort of reading is meant mostly for your in-depth healing process. And as I said, it is a collective message. So it is about these big topics oftentimes, or small, regular, interesting life experiences. Let's see, what card do we have here? We have, from the second deck, the Prince of Discs. This is Prince of Pentacles, or in other words, this is a page. Oh no, it's not a page, this is a knight, sorry. Depends which tarot decks you have. If you don't, it's alright, you don't have to know the names. So what this guy is really trying to give forth is how important it is to focus on your goals. And a little bit overlapping even with the previous card, it is quite a lot about learning how to focus your mind to your goal. And what it means, it is that you have to probably have a very clear goal in your mind. Otherwise you are quite scattered. The easiest way to do it is to write down your goal. If you haven't done it, please do it. By writing it down, you can also make it more specific. You can also narrow it down. You can make mission statements if you need out of it. But that can also help you to understand what steps you need to take. Because in order to achieve a goal, and this is what this card will know full on, it's not about just going to the end from zero. It's about taking one thing at a time to get to the place. And if you know a very clear way in your head what you want, you can actually also come back to the real moment of now and feel and understand, and then allow also the mind to decide what would be the first steps to take. It's not that you have to let's say you want to earn more money each month, right? It doesn't mean that you have to immediately have a successful business. Maybe it means that you start to explore what other areas could earn, or maybe you're doing some little hobby thing on the side. Maybe you're asking for a salary raise at your work. Starting step by step is really the way to go. What else I'm feeling from this card is also noticing all the knowledge that you already have, all the skills that you already have within yourself. So maybe it can be very helpful to you, especially if you are a very goal-driven person, to perhaps write down those skills that you have and really make a beautiful list and just see it in one page, preferably, but maybe you have a few pages, but see which things actually can be closer, which maybe overlap, and which ones you might not actually combine yet. So that can be a very beautiful creative process for you to find those things that can help you on the journey. So let's say you want to get to that goal that I was mentioning with having more money each month. Maybe you realize that, oh, I have never thought of, let's say, using my hobby of art crafting as a way to earn a little bit of side income. And then you maybe already have some things ready for it that you can just put out. Or maybe you have an idea how you could connect to a friend that does something and you could just help, and that's your way of getting some extra. So in that way you could use a skill set that you have. Let's say your skill set is communication, and you know a friend who's doing something, and you know, like, oh, on this and this and this skill set I could help them, and we would together be able to go further. So sometimes writing down your skills can, well, one, boost your own confidence in yourself, which is always good. But second is also to really realize which parts you might be, you know, like sort of having in the background, not really thinking that it's a big deal. But sometimes you need to understand that your unique specific skill set is really important. So this card is reminding you of that. Okay, now we have done this beautiful reading for this new year. Thank you for being interested in having this reading. Otherwise it wouldn't have been published, and I am very curious to know how you resonated with the messages. Was it one message that you resonated more with, or maybe even both? I'm also curious about that. And in case, you want to know more about tarot and learn some things about it, you can also follow me where I'm teaching tarot cards as for beginners, and also for those who already know tarot, higher levels, practices and pro courses. So I'm very, very grateful that you are here. I wish for you to have the most love-filled new year that really brings out this true self. And both of these cards were speaking of such beautiful truth selves that I really hope this message goes deeply into you and wakes up those parts of you that know how to get there. Because the truth is, you are already whole, you are already beautiful and amazing. You are lovable for sure. So I hope that this new year brings you all this love and depth. So I'm very curious to see you in my next videos, and this is my channel meant for your most blissful growth. So I'll see you in the next ones, and for now, goodbye and ciao. This is a lot of talking.